Objects with stories are treasures remembered. I'm here with Micah Christensen from Anthony's Fine Art, and so number one, thanks for letting us see all this cool stuff here. We've got a special painting behind here, so tell me a little bit about it.
So this is a painting whose subject most people will recognize if you're from one of the major world religions.
Yeah.
This is the flight into Egypt. You have Mary, you have the Christ child, and you have Joseph, who have just fled Bethlehem in order to avoid being killed by Herod's troops. The artist who did this is Edouard Jérôme Paupignon. He was a French artist. He painted this in 1892, where it showed in the Paris Salon of 1892.
Okay, now that's a big deal.
Now, it is a huge deal. It's something that it's hard for us to comprehend today. And the number of people who went to Paris to see the Paris Salon where this showed was roughly 2.8 to 3 million people.
Wow.
So twice the population. This is at a time when there weren't really movies or radio or television. The mass entertainment of that time was painting, was sculpture, were these major exhibitions. And the exhibition had echoes abroad where this painting, it was one of 2,000 paintings shown at the exhibition, was then reproduced in multiple formats, in books, in postcards, in posters. It hung on people's walls. It had a life well beyond this artist and this work.
So I noticed some geography and these mountains. Do they have any kind of significance?
So this is the Jabal al-Tar mountain in Egypt. And that's a place today where if you were to look at it, on top of that hill is the Church of the Madonna. And it's to commemorate this moment in the scriptures of the Coptic Egyptians, who are Christian Egyptians, and also of Muslims, the story of Christ coming to Egypt. So if you're an Egyptian Christian, the idea of Christ coming to Egypt, it's a big part of your heritage and your story.
Now, I also noticed that the angels over here, obviously they're not looking at them, they're kind of in the side. But I also know they kind of have this pastel colors, almost like a mauve.
That's right.
Is there any significance on that?
So the 1890s was the era of Art Nouveau, and this color becomes a fashion, this mauve color. And it plays right into the Romanovs, the Russian royal family, who is at this time redecorating the Alexander Palace in St. Petersburg. It's their main residence as the Russian royal family. And they're redecorating it in the style of Art Nouveau, much to the horror of some people who were living at the time. And the most frequented room by the family, the one that's the most precious to them, is called the Mauve Room.
Well, yeah, there you go.
When they saw this painting in the Salon of 1892, it had already been sold to another collector. So they go to Edouard Jérôme Paupignon and they ask him to make another painting of a similar subject, which is also Flight into Egypt. And it hung over the chair where they did their knitting, where they did their socializing in the Alexander Palace.
Well, thank you so much for sharing these stories, because the way I look at it, objects with stories are treasures remembered.